Welcome to this explainer of Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club. We're going to dive right into exactly how waking up at 5 a.m. can completely transform your life. Think of this as your practical, easy to follow summary of the exact frameworks elite performers use. We'll uncover why waking up at dawn is a total game changer, what you're literally losing out on if you don't, and how this one single keystone habit can unlock your hidden genius. Let's get into it. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to cover the cost of distraction, transient hypofrontality, the 20-20-20 formula, the four interior empires, the habit installation protocol, and finally, the sleep rule. Starting off with section 1, the cost of distraction, or what we actually lose by sleeping in. Ask yourself honestly, by staying under the covers and immediately checking your phone with one eye half open, are you unknowingly giving away your genius? It's so incredibly easy to fall into this trap, right? We all do it. You reach over to turn off the alarm and boom, suddenly you're scrolling feeds and checking emails. The source material highlights this concept of cognitive bandwidth. Basically, we only have a limited amount of mental capacity each morning. When we instantly scatter our attention across stressful news and endless social media, we suffer from attention residue. We're literally leaving valuable pieces of our focus scattered all over the internet before our day has even really begun. This brings us to a stark contrast outlined in the text between two very different types of people. On one hand, you have the cyber zombie. This is someone completely addicted to digital distraction, frantically jumping from notification to notification, operating on zero cognitive bandwidth. But on the other hand, you have the empire builder. This person leverages that profound, absolute quiet of the pre-dawn hours to fiercely protect their mental focus. You know, the greatest virtuosos of the world, they don't dilute their gifts by chasing every shiny, noisy diversion. They protect their focus by securing their mornings. Moving on to our first big takeaway in section 2, transient hypofrontality and the actual science behind the 5 a.m. advantage. Okay, so it's not just about having more time in the day. It's about what is physically happening inside your brain at 5 a.m. There's this fascinating biological phenomenon called transient hypofrontality. Basically, at 5 a.m., your prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain that's constantly overthinking and stressing out, it actually quiets down. It temporarily shuts off. And during this window, your brain boots up a literal pharmacy of mastery. Cortisol, the stress hormone, significantly drops. Meanwhile, dopamine, which gives you that drive, and serotonin, which makes you feel good, both absolutely soar. This exact neurochemical cocktail pushes you effortlessly into a flow state, a peak mindset of pure creativity that you just can't access in the loud, chaotic middle of the day. That leads us to takeaway 2 in section 3, the 20-20-20 formula, your ultimate blueprint for the victory hour. So, you're up at 5 a.m. Now what? Well, just staring at a dark wall isn't going to make you a genius. The first 60 minutes after you wake up is what's called the victory hour. And the source material perfectly divides this hour into 3 equal 20-minute pockets: move, reflect, and grow. It's this beautifully engineered routine designed to completely upgrade your human operating system before the rest of the world is even awake. The whole point here is that you're not just sitting around. In step 1, from 5 to 5:20, you move. Now look, I know that doing intense, sweaty exercise at 5 a.m. sounds absolutely awful, but it is the ultimate life hack. You start with intense exercise to literally prime your brain and release BDNF, that's brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which repairs brain cells and speeds up neural connections. Then, step 2, from 5:20 to 5:40, you reflect. You intentionally cultivate some serenity through meditation, prayer, or maybe journaling. It lowers stress and massively boosts your self-awareness. Finally, step 3, from 5:40 to 6, you grow. You consume knowledge, read, or listen to an educational podcast to expand your skills. By 6 a.m., you've already won the day. Next up is takeaway 3 in section 4, the 4 interior empires, which goes way beyond just mindset. So during that reflection and growth time, what are we actually working on? You see, self-improvement usually fails because we only ever focus on our mindset. We get the intellectual info, we read the motivational quotes, but our emotional lives are still a total mess. True mastery requires balancing 4 interior empires. You can't just rely on your psychology. You have to actively purify your emotional heart set by letting go of past pains. You've got to fortify your physical health set so you have the actual energy to execute your goals for decades. And you must elevate your soul set to reconnect with your inner peace. Upgrading all 4 of these during your victory hour is literally the golden key to transformation. Moving to takeaway 4 in section 5, the habit installation protocol and how to actually hardwire this 5 a.m. routine. Let's be real, waking up at 5 a.m. is tough. And if you've tried it before and failed, it's not because you lack discipline, it's just biology. Research shows it takes about 66 days to fully install a new habit. It kicks off with this messy destruction phase. Those first 22 days of fighting your old routine, it feels like absolute torture. It hurts, but you have to keep going. Next, you hit the installation stage, which is super chaotic as your brain is literally building new neural pathways. But stick with it and you finally reach integration. By day 66, you hit what's called the automaticity point. That's the magic moment where waking up early requires zero willpower. It just becomes your new effortless normal. The text actually captures this journey perfectly with this quote: "All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end." I love this because it reminds us that the overwhelming urge to just quit and pull the covers back up during those first 22 days is completely normal. Your brain is in a state of upheaval, but consciously pushing through that initial discomfort is exactly how you build an iron will. Trust me, the gorgeous end is absolutely worth the messy middle. Finally, we have takeaway 5 in section 6, the sleep rule and the absolute essentialness of rest. Now, if you're sitting there worried about being completely exhausted all day long, this is probably going to be your favorite part of the explainer. The magic number is 7.5. Yes, 7.5 hours of sleep. I know it sounds totally counterintuitive for a book called The 5 a.m. Club, right? But this philosophy is absolutely not about sleep deprivation. We are not glorifying hustle culture here. To let your brain literally wash itself and produce human growth hormone, you need 5 complete 90-minute sleep cycles. That equals exactly 7.5 hours a night. Oversleeping might shorten your life, but undersleeping will destroy your cognitive assets. Early to bed, early to rise, that's the sustainable foundation. In fact, sustainable greatness relies on what athletes call periodization. You have to fiercely alternate between the high excellence cycle, where you're doing intense, focused work, and the deep refueling cycle where you completely unplug and recover. You can never sacrifice one for the other. The text even recommends taking 0 device days every single week. Seriously, I challenge you to try a 0 device day this weekend. Turn the phone entirely off for 24 hours. Just watch how your cognitive assets, your focus, your energy, your willpower rapidly rebound when you give them the chance to actually refuel. So, the crucial takeaway is this: winning starts at your absolute beginning. By waking up early before the rest of the world, ruthlessly managing your 60-minute victory hour by moving, reflecting, and growing, and fiercely protecting your 7.5 hours of rest, you truly can elevate every single aspect of your life. You step out of this culturally conditioned state of mindless distraction, and you step into undeniable value creation. So I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off in the quiet, dark hours before dawn, what are you going to choose? Are you going to trade the soft, familiar comfort of your covers for the absolute mastery of your own potential? The choice is entirely yours. Your 66-day journey can start tomorrow.